All right, guys, welcome back to Joe's DIY. I got some pickups for the month of late July, early August. Haven't had a chance to make a video, just getting into the swing of things back at work. But I wanted to share some of the pickups. I did want to announce basically that I will now try to avoid putting too many of the large components into my video because those need to have their own individual videos. But I will save those components for videos of their own in order just to make these videos a little shorter. So without further ado, let's get started. So there were a few vinyls picked up this month. This one is basically for my son. It's not the best condition, but I thought he'd get a kick out of playing this on his little Crosley suitcase record player. So this is a song that's pretty popular, and also a couple of other cover songs by a band named the Safaris. This is a 60s band. So that's for my son. So I also got a couple of really good condition albums. This is Electric Light Orchestra, or ELO's greatest hits. Been thinking about getting this, and I finally found this at a Goodwill. And it was in really, really good condition. Let me see if I can show you that briefly. Here's the inner sleeve, and it's got some of the lyrics, and the record is in really good condition. The next record is one that's probably in many people's collections, whether they admit to or not. I actually have another copy of this, but this is a better condition copy. This is basically the Saturday Night Fever soundtrack. And it's got one of those sleeves that are open up. So there's a couple of pictures of the movie. So there's the record. It's a little dusty, but I'll probably give that a very good cleaning. And here's the other record that I found as part of the set of the Saturday Night Fever. And a record that I was very excited to get were the all-time greatest hits of Roy Orbison. I like how sometimes albums are white and they have just the artist's signature. I think that's pretty cool. It's got basically all his best songs. This one's open up. It's a double album. And there's just a picture of the back. I would say that Roy Orbison is probably one of my all-time most favorite singers. Just beautiful voice. And all these songs are classics. In really good shape, just a little dusty. So unfortunately, there were a bunch of other records that were basically classics. Some Stones, some Beatles. But apparently I got to this Goodwill a little too late, and someone already had snagged them up. And the only reason I know that those other albums were there is because I was checking these albums out and make sure that, you know, the condition and if the record was actually into the sleeve. I saw this other guy with a big stack of records, like all good condition, like these. So it happens sometimes. I've missed the boat maybe twice this year on a big haul of good records from the Goodwill. But you can't beat yourself over it because, you know, when you get lucky, you get lucky. And I'm sure that someone else will see you carrying a bunch of records that they missed out on and wish they had been there a little sooner to snag them. But that's just how, you know, Goodwill picking is. You know, you get there first come, first serve. Sometimes the Goodwill just has, you know, amazing things there, and it's just whoever gets to them gets to them. So I definitely have a big haul of CDs this month. Some of them will be replacing copies that I already own, and I'll go over those in a minute. We'll start off with Michael Jackson. I never owned this album on CD, so I decided to pick this up. It's basically really good condition. I definitely never owned this one. This was his one of his first solo albums, or the solo album he's known the most for. And definitely had no hesitation about getting this. And then we got Miles Davis in a Silent Way. Picked this one up at the same Goodwill. Haven't had a chance to listen to this one, but it's on my to-do list. Huge Miles Davis fan. This one I didn't even know existed, but I went ahead and got it because I'm a big fan of the Allman Brothers, and it's not bad at all. This is a really good live show. It's not very long as far as the songs here, but Hoochie Coochie Man, I've never heard a cover of their version, so I was kind of excited to hear that. Definitely Dreams is one of their best known albums. Songs, Statesboro Blues. So not too bad. I mean, it's probably not their best live album, but I definitely enjoyed listening to this. And so I picked this up. There's a good reason why, because it's probably not the typical genre or artist that I usually gravitate to. I do have some of his albums, but I'm definitely a great voice. It's just that I'm not too much into it, his music. But there's a good reason why I bought this. This is him covering songs from the American Songbook, and the title of this CD is "Had to Be You." When I got married, this is the song that my wife and I danced to. So it was a no-brainer to pick this up. Definitely belongs in my CD collection because definitely a very special moment in my life, and this song encapsulates that. So I'm definitely made no hesitation about picking this up. Julian Lennon Velotte, I think it's Velotte. Owned this on vinyl, but it's got a warp in it, so I haven't been able to listen to the album. So I picked this up on CD. So I look forward to listening to this from beginning to end, because I'm very familiar with where's the song? Too Late for Goodbyes is probably the song he's best known for, and it's a song that I remember when I was a kid listening a lot to in the radio. So I never listened to the full album, so I'm gonna definitely give this a chance. And then I picked up The Police, Ghost in the Machine. Very good songs in this album. Definitely never heard a full album of The Police. I own several of their greatest hits, but I'm going to definitely give this a try. I definitely know Spirits in the Material World. Every Little Thing She Does Is Magic. Yeah, I'm very familiar with that song. So I'll definitely give these other songs a try. I own this on vinyl, so I'm kind of familiar with this album. It's got some good songs here, so I'll definitely give this a try. The only reason I know about this album is because I used to watch a show called The Americans, and this album had a song that I'd known about for a long time. I never knew who the artist was. I think the song is called Don't Go. So but it's got other songs that I like, so I'm definitely gonna listen to this. And then this is another a buy that I it's basically a repeat. I bought this album, and I've actually shown this in a different video, but the album was not in the best shape, and as a matter of fact, with my older CD player, it was skipping quite a bit. So I decided to pick this one up because this one was in very good condition. I mean, it doesn't even have a single scratch there. So this is going to go on the shelf, and then the other copy is probably going to go in the garage with my record player. I definitely completed a collection here. So these two albums were the only ones missing from my Beatles discography. Obviously, not counting the anthology, because I do only have part one of it. But I'm talking about the original albums from the '60s. This is basically the last two that I was missing, so I finally got a chance to pick them up. These were not found at a Goodwill. These were ordered online on eBay, but I got a really good price on them. And definitely classic album help. I actually also own the movie, but these are all classic songs. I was listening to this in my car yesterday. Beatles for Sale. Some people say that this is not one of their most favorite albums, but there's a lot of good songs here. 8 Days a Week, Babies in Black, No Reply, I'm a Loser. Those are all excellent Beatles songs. So definitely people should give this album more of a try because I really enjoy it. So, but that really basically does it for my Beatles albums that I've been trying to hunt down. I got them all on CD. So I'm happy about finishing that collection. So I found Guns N' Roses Use Your Illusion 2. Use Your Illusion 1 has been ordered online because I wanted both albums and I wasn't able to find the other album. But this is excellent. Basically one of GNR's best albums and probably one of their best albums that they ever made. Unfortunately, their career wasn't as long. At least with the original lineup, not as long as we all hoped it would be, but it's got some great songs here. Definitely happy about picking that up. Another album that I have on tape actually, Buddy Guy, Damn Right I Got the Blues. Great songs here. I didn't notice this until I bought it, but it definitely has a lot of great guitar players playing on there with Buddy Guy. So definitely a good album. So I'll put this aside for a moment. I got Hard Dreamboat Annie. I own this on vinyl, but I always like to have a vinyl and a CD version so that way I can listen to it in the car. Rem Murmur. I heard this is one of their best albums. It's their debut album. I'm very familiar with Radio Free Europe, but I've never listened through the whole album, so I'll definitely give this a try. 38 Special. So somewhat familiar with this band. I know a few of their songs. Just a band that I've heard about that I kind of wanted to give a listen to. And then I found Bob Dylan's Love and Theft. Wasn't looking to buy this album, but when I saw the title, I really like that title, Love and Theft. I think it's very interesting that you would mix those two things, and I think it's kind of a reflection of what the album's about. So I'm going to give this album a chance. I heard really good things about it. They say it's one of his best albums. So I'm going to definitely listen to this from beginning to end. But I definitely love that album title, Love and Theft. Really good. So can't wait to hear what the album's about. Okay. Another rebuy was this AC/DC Back in Black. I have this, but unfortunately I don't have the front cover. So the CD was only $2, so I figured I might as well pick this up and just replace the copy that I already have. And then another collection that's been finished for the most part is my Metallica collection. I don't own any of the albums without Jason Newsted. As a matter of fact, I don't think I own any of the albums after the Black Album. So this was one that I was missing from their early days during the 80s. And that's actually the only era that I'm really interested in owning for Metallica. But this was the one that I was missing for the longest time, and I finally found it. I was actually shocked that I found this because I've never really seen this album out there. I don't think anyone really parts with it. So, but definitely one of their classic albums that everyone loves. And then another pickup, and this is probably in everyone's vinyl collection and CD collection probably. This is the Frampton Comes Alive 25th Anniversary Deluxe Edition. Very excited to pick this up because I've owned this on vinyl and I've only listened to this on vinyl. So I'm happy to finally have the CD version, and it comes with 2 CDs. And I think there's a booklet. I think it came with the booklet. So here's a look at the booklet. And it talks a lot about a little bit of history here. Some of the places that they played, where they recorded the album. It's a picture of the band. That Les Paul Custom that he always played. I guess these are all lyrics. It's a good picture of him jamming. So, definitely an excellent guitar player. To this day, I pop this album here and there because it's just great from beginning to end. Really enjoy all the tracks here. Another picture of the band on stage. So a really nice buy. I'm very happy that I purchased this because it's definitely going to go in my record collection. I mean my CD collection. Another album that I was happy to pick up were the Bee Gees' Greatest Hits. The Bee Gees' music transcends both the 70s and 60s, although they're well known for their 70s music as far as the disco thing. But definitely there's a lot of music that they did over the years during the 60s and even after Saturday Night Fever. So I'm happy that I got this song. This album, although it looks like it's got most of their 70s stuff here. But there's a few songs. So here's another rebuy, and this is Dark Side of the Moon. Does not need any introduction. The reason I bought this is because I wanted an extra copy for the garage, but other than that, this is the very same version that I first got the first time that I bought Dark Side of the Moon. The other version I think that I have is from the 80s, but I've always liked the way this one sounded. So, and I also like the album art. It's got the prism there with all that light going through it. So I think I prefer this version to it. I think my original one that I found that I bought the first time got lost or something. So I'm happy that I just ended up picking this exact version up. And then some more ELO. I got the album version of the Greatest Hits. Now I have the CD version of the Greatest Hits, and this actually has 20 tracks. So I'm happy that I got this. And then this another album that needs no introduction, Pink Floyd, The Wall. Was very fortunate to find this. I think even the lady that saw me pick this up was like, I was looking at that. But it's mine. So let's take a look at I think this is like a poster. Well, I think this is just like the lyrics of the album. Some pictures from the movie. So that's the back of it. So I was happy to get this complete. Sometimes albums like this don't get picked up because they're always missing one of the CDs, but fortunately this came complete, so this is going on my collection now. Another album that I have on vinyl, but it doesn't really sound that great. I think it's probably because I have the mono version, but I've got Francis Albert Sinatra and Antonio Carlos Jobim. This is one of, I think, Sinatra's best album, in my opinion, although some people would argue with that, but I mean, this guy was, every single track here is great, you know. So don't know if people out there are Sinatra fans, but I would argue this is his best album. Okay, so next album is the Stones, Through the Past Darkly, Big Hits Volume 2. I don't own Volume 1, but I like this album cover. So, and I know that Canadian Stud Muffin, his channel, talked about how this one is his very first Stones compilation album. So I thought of him when I picked this up, so I just decided to get it for myself. And then the Stone Roses. I've heard a lot about this album. It's particularly influential in British indie rock from the 90s. So I picked this up just to listen through it from beginning to end, see what I think. I've heard some of their songs, but I'm excited that I got this. This is actually a copy that was, I guess, given to record radios or something like that, because it says here that it's just for this property of the applicable record label. So this is, I think, a copy that the record label had, and it wasn't meant to be sold, but I have it now. So another collection that was completed was my Oasis collection. Back in the 90s and early 2000s, I was a huge fan of Oasis. I saw them live before they broke up, so I was fortunate enough to see them. But this is their last album together, and I owned this when I actually bought it when it came out. But unfortunately, it got really scratched up, or I don't know what happened to it, but it definitely had some disc rot, and right now it's sitting in my garage because I do play it from time to time, but I have to skip to some of the tracks. But I was so excited to find this because it's clean, it doesn't have any scratches at all, and it's definitely a completion to my collection because I have all the albums, even their live ones. So happy about that. And this is just a spare copy of Van Halen's Best, Van Halen Best Of. I didn't own this album, but I already have like the double album that they released a couple of years ago with their greatest hits. So I think this copy is going to just go in the garage so that I can play it whenever I feel like playing it. And then I found George Harrison Cloud 9. Unfortunately, this did not come with the album front cover, but fortunately, because now I have my color printer, I was able to print a copy of the album cover. So now I put the album cover in here, so it's sort of complete. I mean, it's not 100% complete, but the CD is in really good shape, you know. It's got a little bit of dust there, but I'll clean that up later. But I've always wanted to own this album, and I have it on tape. I play it on tape all the time. I didn't have the CD, so now I'm happy that I can listen to it on CD. And last but not least, I got a box set of Jeff Beck. So these are his best albums that he's kind of known for. Blow by Blow, I already own on vinyl, so I'm a little bit familiar with this album. Jeff Beck Wired, this is one that I don't have on vinyl, but I'm happy that now I own it on CD, so I'll be able to listen to it. And then Jeff Beck Self-Titled. So I'm looking forward to listening to these, but I'm happy I found this set at a very good price. Okay, so now I'm gonna go ahead and move on to the tapes. I did get a chance to pick up a few 8-track tapes, so I wanted to go over those. Heat Wave, Too Hot to Handle. A lot of classic songs on this album. I've been listening to this over the weekend on those 8-track players that I picked up, and really good album. Really enjoy this sort of funk music from the 70s. 9/18/79 is the year. So I guess someone bought this. I'm not sure. But funny enough, I was 17 months old, or no, 18 days old when someone bought this, because my birthday is in August. So I found this kind of interesting. Someone would write that there, but it just gives you an understanding of how old this thing is. And Rolls Royce 2 in full bloom. A lot of good songs here. More funk from the 70s. So like that. And then Wes Montgomery, Going Out of My Head. So there's a story with this 8-track. So the original 8-track cassette that I got this in was a wreck. The case was completely, I don't know, like destroyed or melted or something. So I ended up doing like a full transplant of the tape into this case that I had for a different 8-track that no longer functioned, that I threw out a long time ago. And this is where my color printer came in handy, because I ended up scanning the label. So I have a scanned copy of the label glued into this case, and I also got the track list there. So luckily I was able to salvage that by just scanning it over to my color printer. And I made this label by myself because the original one did not have a label. So I just made this with my label maker. The cassette is not 100% because I see that foam that I put in there is not helping it make good contact with the 8-track player. So I have to take this apart again and figure out what I can do to get these little foam tabs the correct size so I can get it to work right. But I've been listening to this, the first few tracks, and Wes Montgomery does not disappoint. I mean, he's just an outstanding guitar player, jazz guitar player. I definitely suggest you guys listen to this album, Going Out of My Head. It's an amazing album. And then the last 8-track that I got was Easy Rider, the soundtrack. I own this on vinyl, actually. Good songs here. A lot of classic songs from the 60s. You got Jimi Hendrix, Experience the Birds, Seven Wolf, Marjorie McGuinn. I don't know these other bands, but good music from that movie. This one has a deer code. No, it just says Jim. Okay, so moving on to the other tapes that I got. I only have one cassette tape this month. Arcadia So Red the Rose. So I basically have this on tape and vinyl and CD. I actually bought the original release CD from 1985 of this album, so I'm kind of happy about that. Definitely will be listening to this on my Walkman. But for those who don't know, this is a band that has members from Duran Duran. And it's got Robert Palmer, that guy that sings Addicted to Love, in it. Actually, no, I take that back. He's not in it. So this album, if you guys are not familiar with this band, this is got members of Duran Duran and a couple of other guest musicians on it. So the album is okay. I think I like a couple of the songs there. Some of them are just not my cup of tea, but it's a good album that I enjoy. So those are the tapes for this month. So moving on to the movies, I did pick up one Laserdisc movie, Splash. I used to own this on VHS, but I've never seen the movie from beginning to end, funny enough. I think my sister ended up keeping the VHS of this, so I never really watched it from the beginning to end, but it's one of Tom Hanks' first movies, so it must be pretty good. There's a picture of the back. I always like the way laser discs are very similar to the size of vinyl, where you can kind of see like a larger size of, you know, the movie and who's in it, and a little synopsis of the back. So I will watch this on my Marantz Laserdisc. Hopefully the S-Video signal gives me a good picture. So I ended up getting a few more Betamax tapes. Side note, I probably will not be getting any more Betamax, and I'll talk to you a little bit about why I won't be getting that. The first thing is Deadly Friend. This is a movie I really used to watch a lot when I was a kid. This used to come on, I think, on Showtime or HBO. And someone had recorded it on a VCR, on their VCRs, and I got a chance to watch this movie plenty of times. I think it was one of my cousins or aunts that got this on VHS, that copied it from Showtime, so I was able to watch this quite a bit. It's a good movie. Wes Craven doesn't get a lot of attention because it's not his most well-known movie, but it's okay. I mean, it's not bad at all. Another Betamax that I found for a pretty decent price was the complete Beatles. So I used to watch this quite a bit when I was a kid. And here is the tape. Here's the inside. The sleeve is actually in pretty good shape. This is probably one of the first documentaries I ever saw about the Beatles. So when I saw that it was on Betamax, I just figured, oh, why not? Okay, and then I got a couple of blank tapes. I actually bought this in a lot. I was shocked at how many tapes I was able to get. I was able to get about 4 blank tapes for about $10 shipped. So I think that was a very good price. And I will probably be using these at some point, maybe. Okay, and then the last piece of Betamax was this Ortofon Betamax Maintenance Kit. I found this at a pretty decent price, so I ended up buying it because I was hoping that this would solve my problem of the Betamax tape having that little bit of interference when I played it. Someone had told me that maybe I should watch another cleaning video to see if I could make that Betamax finally work correctly. I tried running this tape on there, and I saw little to no improvement on the quality of the video. So unless I find a Betamax player that's better than what I have, I probably will not buy any more Betamax tapes for the fact that they're I think ridiculously expensive. I cannot get the machine running correctly, so for now I probably won't be picking up any more Betamax. I will definitely, any other movies that I want to watch on beta, I'll probably dub them on these tapes. But other than that, I probably won't buy any more. All right, and then moving on to the videotapes. Yes, this is Scarface. I own this on DVD. I own this on DVD. I don't have the Steelbook version yet, but I'm hoping to get it at some point. This is actually identical to the first copy of Scarface that I ever owned. Our Scarface definitely is one of my all-time favorite movies. I played the video game to death. I watched the movie, more than I can remember counting. So this is like, I think I bought this when I was maybe about 18, 19 years old. From, I think it was Costco or Sam's Club. They had like a big palette of movies that they were selling, and Scarface was there. So I jumped on the opportunity of buying this. Very fortunate to get it. I like this watermarked label that some videotapes used to have back in the day, where you have the studio's logo on there. I think that's pretty cool. So I was happy to get this. And then I found this very old copy of The Shining. I have no idea. Oh yeah, it says right there. So this was released in 1990. but it's got that old Warner Brothers or Warner Home Video logo and styling, so I kind of like that. I used to like those clamshell versions of the same that Warner Brothers used to release, but I don't have any of those. So, but I picked this up because I like The Shining. And then I did get a box set of VHSs. I try to avoid buying box sets of VHSs because they, as you can see, they take up a lot of room. And I already have too many VHSs, but I couldn't resist passing this up. This is the entire collection of Star Trek movies, probably from the 80s and I guess very early 90s. So obviously you got the motion picture, The Wrath of Khan, which is probably the best of the series. Search for Spock, The Voyage Home, and The Final Frontier. So I'll definitely relive watching these movies. The motion picture was kind of just a weird movie. I didn't really get it. But maybe on a second watch I might see more than what I saw the first time. And then The Wrath of Khan was probably my favorite of all the Star Trek movies. Really good. So got this pretty cheap, so I didn't want to pass it up. And then we got a few DVDs here. So the same place that I found the Star Trek collection, I found Scarface, but this is the original Paul Mooney Scarface. So definitely had to pick this up because I've seen the original version maybe once, but I definitely wanted to watch it again. I got season 2 of The Walking Dead. I'm thinking of putting together the entire collection of all the seasons. So as I see these around at the Goodwill, I'm trying to pick them up because I only have season 1, so this is season 2. Catfish. I was watching this last week, and because I never seen the movie, and definitely a good movie to watch. I have newfound respect for the guy that made this movie, because definitely was able to turn the other cheek, even though he was really deceived by the person that he was having a relationship with. So, but definitely good movie to watch. I enjoyed it. So, and then the Roast of William Shatner. Started watching this yesterday. Really funny. So I was at my corner Goodwill yesterday, and I needed some change. They wouldn't give me any change unless I bought something. So I found this, and this controller is designed for the Genesis, but it is amazing. The feel for it is really good. I mean, it's kind of thin, but it's also kind of concave at the bottom, so it's really comfortable. It's concave on the top too, so it makes my hand feel really comfortable on it. And it's got a really well built joypad. I think this is what it's called. So it kind of has that concaveness of the 6-button controller, and not to mention it's got the auto, turbo, and features, so you can put this on turbo or an auto. So it does have the X, Y, A, B button, but in the front it's actually got the Z and the C button. So instead of having them 3 in a row like this, they have them as triggers. So I kind of like that. That was actually a good idea, and I wish that Sega would have done this for their original controllers. But I'm really glad I picked this up. Definitely you could change the mode to 6-button or 3-button controller here, and you got your start button. And I was actually using this on the Atari 5200 now that I have the converter to use Genesis controllers, and this was very nice to play on there. I was playing Defender. I was playing Defender on there, and this really helped with playing that game, because actually that game is really difficult for me. But I got Defender to play really well on this, and it's just very comfortable controller, and this is going to be basically my main Genesis and Atari 5200 controller from here on. And then something that I don't don't really want to take too much time talking about, but it's just a copy of Microsoft Office 97 Professional Edition. I bought this for about $1. So I just thought it was kind of nostalgia and something that I might want to use in case I ever decide to build a Microsoft Office 98 computer. I do have a Pentium 4 in the garage that I bought brand new when it came out, and I was thinking of just having a PC where I can play old games on there. So who knows, maybe this might come in handy. And for the Xbox 360, I bought Far Cry 3. I own this on PS3, but I always wanted to get the Xbox 360 version just because it's probably a more comfortable controller to play this on. And I played some of this already, and it's kind of fun. Not a big fan of first-person shooters, but this one works fine. And then I picked up a couple more 5200 games now that I have that controller converter. Defender is really difficult game for me. It's kicked my butt actually, but with a different Genesis controller, I think I've been playing a little bit better now. And then Missile Command is a game that I've been wanting to get, but I'm kind of disappointed about the fact that you definitely need some kind of rollerball to play this with. The Atari controller mine is not working right now, so I can't get the 5200 controller to work on this, and the Genesis controller just doesn't work really well with this, so I definitely need like a rollerball controller. So I'm looking to possibly get that in order to start be able to play this game. This one came with the actual keypad card, so that's kind of nice. So that is basically it for my July/August pickups. It was quite a haul of CDs. I think I'll probably take a break from buying CDs at this time, but I'm glad that I got that out of the way, and then I'll have a follow-up video. So I'm gonna hold off on talking about any big components that I bought this month. I will give those their own videos. So for today, thank you for joining me, and I hope you enjoy your weekend. Thank you.